In the sea of new and upcoming RTS games of 2024, one indie development team made me stunned with awe at their beautiful, amazing, and most definitely human-made art. This design, along with a great mix of gameplay mechanics in the making, has bridged the gap between artful turn-based and practical real-time animations and graphics. Thus, Songs of Silence might not be the RTS hybrid I or you ever thought to play, but it is definitely one we deserve to be able to play on PC and consoles. The new demo of this hybrid between turn-based and RTS gameplay is the perfect opportunity for you to check if my words hit the mark or am I full of hot air. Oh, and before I give you a rundown of the gameplay, let me just share how the Kickstarter campaign run by the developers at Chimera Entertainment was funded in less than 8 hours. Okay, the sum wasn't that high to begin with, but it is already flying past that goal and the subsequent stretch goals, with more and more fellow gamers adding their cash to the pile. So why do I, and apparently many more people, love this first taste of Songs of Silence? I would say it probably has a lot to do with the three main selling points of the current version: the beautiful visual style, the amazing blend of turn-based world map progression with the autobattler style real-time battles, and lastly, the card system, which is present on both gameplay levels and replaces spells, upgrades and abilities you would expect in this kind of a game. I am purposely not comparing Songs of Silence to the exact game or games that you probably have been thinking about since this video started. And this is a new thing I'm trying out in my showcase videos. But if you have to, do spell it out in the comments below and I'm sure many will agree with you.
I will never forget the last days of Erengard.
Now, if you start the campaign part of this demo, you're treated to a mini-story intro and then thrown head first into hot water with an unwinnable battle against the forces of silence. These creatures, of all shapes and sizes, tear through your mounted knights, infantry phalanx, and shake off both trebuchet energy strikes and meteors from the heavens like they were mosquitoes. It is a nice but overwhelming experience for a new player and a kind of a gameplay teaser for what is to come in later stages. It also lets you figure out what different kinds of cards do on the battlefield and give you the feel for how much you have to wait before using them again. It is after you get squashed on the battlefield that you start getting more context for the story you are in. I don't want to spoil your first impressions too much, as there is so much great art to enjoy on your own, so let's skip ahead into the gameplay. Your first regular skirmish is at a much lower army size scale and with an included mini tutorial. Here you can finally take more time to look over everything and start to realize just how little control you're given over your units and hero during the actual real-time battles. This is probably the point where you will discover: are you willing to give up controlling units and only use cards for spells to enjoy the story and fantastic visuals? Of course, along with the kingdom management you have yet to be slowly introduced to. For me, it would have been a resounding yes, even without the developers contacting me first and asking would I like to showcase Songs of Silence to you, my viewers. I am actually a sucker for great visuals, as I have mentioned on multiple occasions, and I am a borderline OCD person when it comes to management gameplay. So, if I still have your attention and the auto-battler system hasn't caused you to click away, let's dive into the other gameplay elements. Inside settlements, like this capital city, you have an opportunity to go through your army and recruit more units. I was particularly interested in 3 separate fields, which are marked Reserves, Army and Garrison. While that middle and last one are pretty self-explanatory and obvious in their function, the first one, the Reserves, drew my attention the most and later turned out to be the most useful one. I own a lot of turn-based games and admit to not having played them all, so perhaps some of you have seen a similar system before, but I don't remember it. Feel free to tell me in the comments which other games have this. And so it was a very pleasant surprise for me as I discovered just how many uses it has. Not only can I bring more units with my hero than I can field in battle, and so pick and choose the types of units I want to use in the next battle, I could also place damaged ones back there to keep them out of the next battles, so I could heal them up when I go into a settlement. On top of that, exchanging units between armies became easier and allowed even for a sort of supply chain system where backline, low-level heroes transported extra units to the high-level frontline heroes, while still having units in their armies to protect themselves on the road. And lastly, when you win a baggage train of gold from your enemies with your top combat heroes, you can use your other ones to bring those baggage trains back to one of your settlements and cash in that gold. Another new spin on the genre, if I may say so, but feel free to correct me if this was done before, as my gameplay almanac of turn-based game mechanics is a bit rusty. Now, other things you can take a look inside the settlement is what it produces for you, which is usually gold and wood, and depending on special buildings, also divine favor, a resource used for summoning magical units and using some specific cards on the campaign map. Each unit you examine doesn't just have great art attached to it, but a host of different attributes besides the main ones, which are the power and health. Examining enemies and setting up your own units and their positions in your army is a key element in properly playing Songs of Silence. Some units will shred specific enemy ones while doing very little damage to others. Every unit also has a description of its type, function and sub-faction, so when you find and capture artifacts, you can match their specific bonuses with certain unit types and sub-factions to get the most use out of them. One thing that was probably done for balance sake, but which I don't particularly like, is that these artifacts take up slots in the reserves. These same slots your extra units and baggage trains of gold also use. So the reserves line of slots for a frontline top level hero with a lot of units, artifacts and newly captured baggage trains of gold can become a very crowded place by the end of a single player mission or skirmish match. And in both skirmish and campaign, there are several types of settlements to take over, and each offering different units to recruit at different levels of the settlement's development. This is one part of gameplay where cards are once again used. Besides leveling up heroes, adding specific buildings to settlements, or additional moves to units, there are also for upgrading settlements once they reach their full development potential per level. This increases the income of gold and wood from these settlements. While in the campaign you gain new heroes as the story develops, in the skirmish mode they are spawned with cards, which cost more and more resources the more heroes you have. On the bright side, spawning a new hero also brings their army to the field, so the cost is justified at least in part. And don't worry, if your hero falls in battle, they can be respawned as a card in a few turns when their soul is rested. There is a lot more I could tell you about Songs of Silence, like how to siege a settlement, that there are side quests in the campaign, how you can find a whole other dark map in the skirmish mode, or that there will be 2 main factions in the game, and so much more. But I want you to discover some of this on your own when you try out the demo on Steam and naturally click that wishlist button. Thank you for watching and happy gaming!